I was reading around in Leviticus, obviously, right around chapter, well, pretty much the whole book of Leviticus, but right around chapter 13, 14, starts really talking about uncleanliness and the things that you can do to become unclean. It starts talking about skin diseases, and it also talks about bodily discharge and things like that. And it almost is, when I was reading it, it's almost like, almost to a point where you would consider some of the stuff they had to go through a little silly. When you became unclean, it was like, you had to kill a goat and smear it on the altar, and if you couldn't get a goat, you had to bring a dove or a frog, jump on one leg and spin around 4 or 5 times, and it just is like, why is all this really needed? Because we all know that spinning around and rubbing goat's blood on an altar is not going to actually cure you of a skin disease. I think it's the beginning of following orders. I think that some of it's not necessarily scientifically needed, but it proves your commitment and doing what you're told. And then also I think it's a very important step in Christianity, because it's the beginning of, like I said, of learning to follow orders even though you don't understand the meaning of it. As far as the uncleanness with discharge is talking about, obviously men's sexual discharge, and then I think it's more referring to women's menstruational discharge, and it talks about the uncleanliness and how long that they would be considered unclean, and the things that they have to do to kind of get clean again. And like I said, I think a lot of it's just more about following orders. I also think that God created body and soul, so He wants us to honor Him with both, not just one. So there is a lot of what looks to be unnecessary steps, but I don't think any of it is unnecessary. I think that everything that you do, that you've been told to do, just proves your commitment, whether you understand it or not. So, yeah, stay clean.